This is Rogue Wing, Coraline, or Helen RD over at Starship Modeler. Welcome to the workshop. Okay, working on the next phase of the Odysseus, namely with the impulse engines and the secondary hull, warp engines in the secondary hull. I'm going to need the engines to look lit when I don't have the power turned on to them. So, what I've done is taken some colored inks, mixed it with little classic Elmer's glue, and then coated the deflector dish and the warp grills with the blue. Now I'll probably put another coat over these to help even it up. I mean, you could tell that coat's not terribly even right now. And then what I'll have, let me get my trusty LED strand handy. And I'm not going to be able to show it as well as I hoped. But what I'll have, hopefully, when all is said and done, is a diffusing coat as well as the color. I'm going to have to play it by ear, see how it works out. I'm going to let this coat sit, mix up another batch, and then do the same thing for the red. It's going to be interesting. We'll see how it plays out. Alright, I'd sat down here with the idea of actually getting some more work on the Odysseus done today. So far, that hasn't panned out. Mostly been a day of frustration, catching up on some previous frustrations. Okay, start off with, when I was trying to deal with some of the light leak along the edges, I dropped the hull. Had to glue it back down. Luckily, none of the fibers came out, none of the circuits were damaged. So all I really had to do was glue the hull back together. A continued object of my frustration was the quick connector on this side of the circuit. It seemed like if it shifted at all, I'd lose connectivity on these lights. So I took off the quick connector and soldered those in place. Then I went ahead and soldered the master leads together. And now, assuming everything's still working the way it's supposed to be, all of those circuits are working now. I was planning on getting the LED strip attached to the navigational deflector today using some 5-minute epoxy. Problem is the epoxy refused to set and refused to hold the LED strip in place. So I wound up having to strip the coating I'd put on the inside of the navigational deflector off and take it back to basically a clear deflector and start over. That's where we're sitting at the moment. It was a very frustrating day. I'm hoping things get better and get better soon. Okay, quick update time. Admittedly, again, it's not much, but at least it is an update. Using the same trick I did before, I mixed some blue ink with the PVA glue and coated the inside of the deflector. Instead of trying 5-minute epoxy, which failed so badly on me yesterday, I have gone in, because of how I want to light the deflector, I couldn't use the tape side, so what I did is I super glued along the edges to attach the LEDs to the deflector. Now let's see if I can get my leads to reach where I want them to. Oh boy, that's going to be bright. But it's got most of the light in the core of the deflector, which is where I actually want it. And once I close this up inside the hull, we should have some better results. Another thing I realized is that as I've been working on this, I hadn't really given any thought to the base. And since I'm running lights into this thing, I'm not really going to have, because of the way I'm trying to light the inside, I'm not really going to have room inside to put the battery pack. So I'm going to have to put the battery pack inside the base. Now, I have at least started on that. This bowl may not look like much, but A, it was free, and B, it gives me space underneath it to put a good sized battery pack. Piece of tubing I had left over from another project. The knurl here will actually come in handy to keep it from popping inside the base plate. I'm probably going to have to reinforce the base plate, but I've gone in, drilled a hole in the secondary hull to accept the pipe. I mean, right now, obviously, it's not going to balance well, but that's to be expected considering 3/4 of the weight of this model's in the front. But we've at least got some progress now, and I'm not mad at the model anymore. Hopefully, as the holidays come and go, I'll get more motivation. Time's not been an issue. It's been more motivation to actually get on the bench and get this thing finished, because my own rule is I don't like to have multiple projects on the bench. So I can't really do anything else till I either finish the Odysseus or decide to set her aside. I want to finish her. Stay tuned.